All right. Well, hey everyone. I'm really excited to be on the call. My name is Emily Roberts. I'm 25 years old. Oh, 26 years old. I just had a birthday. It's hard to remember that. 26 years old. I'm a Sapphire ambassador. Hopefully Diamond very soon. And I'll tell you a little bit about my journey. Before I get started, I want everyone to know this is being recorded and will go on YouTube. So if you don't want to see yourself on YouTube later, just tilt your camera to the left or right, point it at the ceiling, turn it off, just so you know, because it will be posted later. I'm 26. I'm got a baby on the way and one sleeping on the couch. That's about to be two. I started my business July 4th of 2014. And at the time, I had no intentions of working it as a business. I literally was a cheapskate and wanted a discount. I had seen some testimonies, kind of rolled my eyes at them. I was like, whatever, we'll see. I was one of those moms that really tried to breastfeed, and it helped with my milk supply for the time being that my body would let me. And then it also helped as I silently suffered. I was one of those people that took lots of naps and was really down in the dumps a lot. And it kind of turned that around for me. I love the triplex combo. I've taken it for the last 18 months, including during the second pregnancy, and it has been a huge difference. You can check out my Facebook. I post updates and I compare the pregnancies back and forth because it has been so awesome. The energy is great. Most people, which is pretty funny, they don't know I'm pregnant from here up, and then I get out of my car or I stand up and they're like, "Oh wow, you're really pregnant." So it's such a blessing for people to notice that I'm way healthier this go round. And the only thing I changed was adding Plexus to my routine. So that's kind of a little bit about my health testimony. As for the business, I decided to post on Facebook one day. I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to go for it. People are going to hate on me. And the only reason I thought they were going to hate on me was because about 3 months prior to joining, I made it very loud and clear that network marketing scams are so annoying, and I didn't want people adding me to their groups. I didn't want them adding me to their pages. I was very hateful. I was that skeptic. We all have one like that, right? We all have that one person on your Facebook that just hates your business. I was that person. And the girl that my upline, Holly Torres, she's an Emerald ambassador. She reached out and was like, "Hey, I know this isn't your thing, so it can be like quiet between you and I, but I think you should at least try the products." And I was like, "Okay, I'll let you know." And so I started doing research. I was trying to breastfeed, and I didn't want anything to hurt my kid that I was consuming. So that was really huge to me, was that you could use the Plexus products and nurse your baby. Well, most of the products. My OB loved the triplex combo. My lactation specialist said that our probiotic was fantastic. And so that was really important to me. And that's why I ended up choosing Plexus over a couple other companies that had been kind of thrown at me. And I decided to post on Facebook, and I did, and it was terrible. It was so bad. So many hateful comments, and you went to the dark side, and just all over the place. Even my own husband, who at the time was deployed to Afghanistan, was like, "What did you buy? What are you doing?" And I was like, don't diss it, just do some research, look at the ingredients. I promise it's legit. I wouldn't do something if I didn't believe in it. And so he ended up being my biggest skeptic for the next 8 months to come. I had no idea that was going to happen. But I knew Plexus was different. I didn't know why just yet. I just knew it was different. I had my health testimony happen. I lost baby weight. I was feeling better. I was off of prescriptions. And I was like, I got to keep sharing about this, because if I'm feeling this way and it's affecting me like this, who's to say it's not going to help, the person next to me that may be suffering too. And I don't know about it because they don't post about it, So that's what I started doing. I kind of put on this like no shame mentality and started posting at least once a day about it. At the time, I posted really salesy graphics, and it's funny because I still have them on my Facebook in one of my albums. I'll go and look at them, and they have no likes, maybe one like, and I'm like, oh, why did I post that? So cheesy. And so it's nice to see, 18 months later, it's always been about relationships, and it should always be about relationships. And it's so cool that Plexus can kind of dump you into people's lives that you didn't know you needed, and they didn't know they needed you or the products. So I went emerald in 8 months. And that was when my husband became a believer. He was like, okay, this is legit. He was like, I can't believe we're going to get a Lexus right now. I didn't have a car, so that was huge. I didn't have to bug him about, borrowing a car. And then 2 months after that, right before convention last year, I reached Sapphire, and that was just insane. We've had some attrition over the summer, and we're rebuilding right now, but I absolutely love this opportunity and the compensation plan, and it's seriously unlike anything I've ever found. And that's why I want to share with you guys what I've learned about Plexus and how I work my business. My poor baby. I want you guys to know this first. Well, ask yourself this question. If you follow me, maybe you watch my Facebook Live posts, you watched this one the other day. But for those of you that didn't, I want you to ask yourself this. Are you easily influenced by the opinions of others? And the reason why I ask you that is because a network marketing professional, Ray Higdon, he asked that on a Periscope. And I was like, you know what? That's a really good question. And he says to ask that to people before they join your team. Because if they're easily influenced by others' opinions, they're not ready to be successful. Because guess what? When they get their first no, when they get their first skeptic, they're going to quit. And we all have that one person that's like that, right? You're probably sitting there thinking, oh, I have a girl or I have a guy on my team just like that. So you need to ask yourself, am I easily influenced by others? Do I get upset when someone just won't try Plexus? I tell my team this all the time. We have gold. We have what people need. We have a probiotic that not only is incredible, but it has antifungal, and a lot of probiotics don't have that. They're not working the best that they could be working for people. We have a pink drink that does way more than help people with weight management, right? So sharing about the products and having that no shame mentality is something that is very, very important, and not letting others' opinions influence you. Another reason is because those opinions are not paying your bills. They are not paying for your diapers or your mortgage or your car payment or your groceries. So why in the world do they matter? Why? And let me tell you something. Doctors can be wrong. We can be wrong. Your friend that works out at the gym all the time and looks really good on the outside, he can be wrong. Not everyone is educated. Sometimes they're just really opinionated. So we got to remember that in our business. When we have those really down days and when we have skeptics coming at us left and right, and you're just like, I can't catch a break. What am I doing? Why am I doing this Plexus thing, man? Everybody hates it. Go back to your why. Why did you join? Why do you use the products? Why do you feel different? Maybe you remember that first Plexus paycheck and you're just like, I need to do this. I need this income. I need to support my family. So think about that. That's probably my favorite question to ask people now, because you're not ready to be successful if opinions bother you. You're not. And you're not ever going to be successful because you're going to always let them bother you. So remember that. So a couple of things that Cassandra and I were talking about to help you guys in your businesses and to help you grow your businesses were a couple of different things. I'm pulling them up right now because I don't remember all of them. Okay, so 2 different topics. One is the power of 3, which I'm sure you've heard that terminology before. And then the second one that we're going to talk about is recruiting like a diamond and following up like a diamond. But let's start with the power of 3. So you hear about that a lot. Maybe you've seen a YouTube video by a Plexus jewel talking about the power of 3, and all it takes is 3 people. If you can go silver, you can go diamond, all those things. And you're like, if I can go silver, man, it's taken a year to go silver. It's taken, 7 months to go silver. Or maybe you went silver in your first day and you're still silver and it's been a year or something crazy. Keep it going. Don't get discouraged. One of my favorite stories that I love is hearing about is Sarah Marble. She's been a diamond now for 5 years, and it took her 7 months to go silver with Plexus. And y'all, when I mean 7 months, I mean all she had was the brush check kit. She didn't have the amazing product line that we have. She had to go silver with just the brush check kit. So think about that. When you're complaining and you're like, I can't do it. I don't know enough people. Nobody wants to do this with me. Think of Sarah Marble. It took her 7 months and she had one product that didn't even really apply to men. It just really applied to women in most people's minds. And she did it. And now she's been a diamond for 5 years. The power of 3 is everything. That is how you're going to duplicate. That's how you're going to continue to build a team and a downline. And that's going to keep momentum going. With the power of 3, it starts with you going silver. And then from there, as a leader, because you have people on your team now, you're officially a leader once you add one person. Once you get to silver, it's important to help them understand the importance of silver and helping them reach out to at least 3 people. Now, if they don't have 3 people to reach out to, then you need to backtrack a little bit and help them create a list by using the Frank's method, which maybe you heard about at Super Saturday, or maybe your leaders have mentioned that before. But the Frank's method is a really easy way to put together a list of contacts, whether it's yours, your significant others, your spouse, your friends, your family. Create a list and always add to it. The easiest way to do this, to work on that power of 3, is when you're sitting on Facebook and you're scrolling like a zombie and you're like, oh, Sarah has headaches. That stinks. And you scroll right past it. Hello. Sarah needs BioCleanse and Plexus Slim. Sarah needs it. So Sarah needs to be written down on your list. Sometimes we look right over stuff like that. Or maybe Tommy is posting that he's sick of being the dad that misses out on his kids' life events. He wants to be there with his kids. Hello, put Tommy on your list. Tommy could work this business and retire early. I know my husband gets to get out of the Marine Corps early because of Plexus. So don't forget about your dudes. Our man ambassadors are awesome. There was a diamond documentary released today of Zach Kinkle. He's a Texas diamond, and I love it. I love that guys and couples get to do this together. So that power of 3 is going to come from their boldness and their courage to reach out to anyone and everyone. Now, here's the thing. When I say reach out, I don't mean vomiting Plexus all over them. No one wants that. No one wants to be told Plexus. Nobody wants to hear that. Think about the relationship you had with them prior to Plexus, like the people on your team now maybe, and think about the friendships that you have. What do y'all talk about? Talk about Justin Bieber? You talk about the news? You talk about politics? What do you talk about? That's how you introduce Plexus to someone. It's about the relationship. This is relationship marketing, and that is the key to the power of 3. Because if you're reaching out to at least 3 people a day, and by reaching out, I mean, hey, how are you? Oh my gosh, your little girl is getting so big. We should have a play date. Hey man, you want to grab a cup of coffee this weekend and take a Plexus Slim sample with you? Reaching out to someone does not mean, hey, can I tell you about Plexus? Hey, have you ever heard of Plexus? Sometimes people don't want to hear it. They follow you on Facebook. They see it. Don't get me wrong. Some people may not see it, but that's salesy. It's impersonal and it's salesy. And it's not the way that you want to be known for your business. Build relationships and focus on your relationships throughout the whole thing. That's going to keep the power of 3 going. And if your team is watching you build relationships and they see that it's about that, they're going to do the same thing because they're learning from you. The number one way to build relationships is something that I found through Facebook, is posting what people want to see, posting what people want to hear, and posting things that are relatable. It goes back to the law of attraction. What attracted you into Plexus? What did you see that you were like, I need to be a part of this. I need to do this. That is what you want the message to get out to your Facebook audience, your Instagram audience, whatever social media that you're using. Maybe you're at the grocery store. Are you wearing that Plexus shirt proudly? Or do you see this woman talking to you about how she wants cucumbers versus tomatoes and you're just kind of ignoring her? Hello, that's a conversation starter. Have a conversation about cucumbers and mention Plexus. It's weird, but it happens like that sometimes. Don't be afraid to grow your business in weird ways. Just be yourself. Relationships can come easily, but it's up to us to nourish them. There's a difference in being a hunter versus a farmer. Farmers, they have their crops and their fields and their animals, and they plant and they harvest and they take care of their things, because sometimes the sun isn't on their side, or the rain is not on their side. So it's up to them to water and provide that. Hunters, they go for the kill. They load up their gear, they load up their weapons, they go out and they seek out anything and everything to kill. How are you working your business? Are you a hunter or a farmer? That's going to determine the power of 3 and your duplication process. Because if you're a hunter and you're just going after everyone and pew, 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 plexus, 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 shooting at everybody, you're not doing it right. Yes, I want you to tell everyone about Plexus, but do it because you want to have a relationship with them first. Now, that leads me into recruiting like a diamond and following up like a diamond. I say like a diamond because that's what I have to remind myself. If you are, for instance, say you're silver and you want to be senior gold by convention. You want to be ruby by convention, but you're terrified of telling people about Plexus. You're not posting on Facebook. You're not reaching out to people. Or even worse, you're doing the bare minimum. I think that's worse than not doing it at all, because you have a goal set in place. You have a team that's watching you, but you're kind of getting by. You're kind of going to promote. When I say like a diamond, I want you to work your business like a diamond. For instance, maybe you've heard of the method 5-3-1. Reaching out to 5 people, following up with 3, and then training 1 person in your downline. If you don't have a downline, you're training yourself. That's great. That's a great method to use. Plexus fits into the nooks and crannies of our lives. Reaching out to 5 people a day, a week, that's easy, right? Okay, so let's do it like a diamond. Let's double it. How about 10-6-2? Reaching out to 10 people a day at the least. And that's 10, hey, how are you? Good job. That's 10, hey, let's get together and have a play date. Hey, can I take you to lunch next week? Hey, it's been a while. How are you? Oh my gosh, our 20-year class reunion's coming up. 10 of those. And then you have 6 follow-ups. Going through your messages on Facebook and through your phone from 2014, you're like, hey, so I sent you a sample in 2014 and never heard back. Did you ever try it? Did you like it? My bad for not following up with you. I was thinking about you today, and I really want to know what you thought about it. It's time for you to do this with me. Following up with 6 of those, not just 3, double it. And then you have 2. Training yourself and then training someone on your downline, or double training yourself. Not just watching testimonies and Diamond Docs, but getting it on PubMed and looking up the ingredients of Plexus Slim and how they affect our bodies. Looking up the different bacterias and Probio 5 and the enzymes and how they affect our bodies. Taking that double step is working your business like a diamond, because diamonds don't sit around and twiddle their thumbs and they're like, oh, I'm a diamond, so my team's just going to work for me. No, that's not what they do. They keep going. Why? Because the second you stop, your team sees and notices. They're going to notice. And guess what? They're going to stop too. So when you're recruiting like a diamond, keep that 10-6-2 method. Double it. Go after more. And my favorite thing ever when you're recruiting like a diamond is going for no. I just mentioned that on a Facebook Live, the book by Richard Fenton, Go for No. It's like a $5 book on Amazon and maybe even cheaper on the audio versions. But he says to count your no's. How many no's can you get this week? I want you guys to count your no's and send them to your upline. And I want you to tell your upline, I got 46 no's this week. That means you reached out to 46 people. That means you were the first person to say, hey, how are you? Or, hey, can I send you a Plexus sample? Because maybe that you're the first person they're ever going to hear about Plexus from. Count those no's, because those no's will eventually turn into maybes, which eventually turn into yeses. I like to tell my team all the time that no's are really maybes. They usually just need more information. But if you're contacting them and reaching out to them, they're going to remember when it happens again, or maybe they see a Plexus Slim car drive by. They're going to go, oh, yeah, Laura said something about Plexus the other day. I need to message her. I keep seeing it everywhere. The subconscious mind games, we don't even know we're doing it, right? So count your no's. Following up like a diamond is kind of the same concept. You're doing that 10-6-2 and you get to the 6 and you need to follow up with 6 people. So here's my number one rule for follow-ups. And I want you to write this down if you have a pen and paper. And you can write it in all caps. No more than 2 sentences. That's my follow-up rule. No more than 2 sentences. You let that person talk about themselves. You ask a question at the end of everything. So you're going to say a statement and you're going to ask a question. For instance, here's an example. Kelly just messaged you. Hey, so what's this Plexus thing? You're going to say, I would love to get you more information. Which one of my posts caught your attention? That's it. That's all you say. You do not send them a novel. You do not send them six screenshots of all our products and what they do. You do not send them a testimony. You send a statement and a question. And I promise you they will keep replying. They're not going to disappear. Because why? Because they're not overwhelmed and you didn't just vomit Plexus on them. Another way that I like to follow up is something that I do now because my time is precious and I'm about to have a newborn on my hands, is sending Facebook voice messages. I have an iPhone, so I don't know how it works if you have an Android or any other device, but sending a voice message is very similar to using a walkie-talkie, and it still gives you that keyboard courage because you're still hiding behind Facebook, but they hear your voice, they hear your excitement, and if you feel like 2 sentences is not enough for you personally, that's not your personality, you can wrap up a lot in 59 seconds in a voice message. For instance, Kelly messages you, hey, so what is this Plexus? You're going to hold down the little button and you're going to go, hey, Kelly, how are you? Oh my gosh, it's been a while. I would love to get you some information on Plexus. Did you mean our products or the business opportunity? Boop, send. You state something, you talk about the person, you ask a question. Again, that was like a 45-second voice message, but it's equivalent to like 2 sentences that someone has to read. For instance, I want you guys to paint this visual in your head. We all get them at least once a year. You get the chain letters in your Facebook message inbox that was sent to like 83 people, including yourself, and it's like a whole page long, and you have to sit there. You can't even get out of the message because you have to like scroll through the whole thing, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not sending this to anyone. Like I can't even read this whole thing. That is what it's like as a potential when you come at them with all this information. They're going to see that long message and go, oh my gosh, Sarah is mad at me. Why is she sending me a novel? Or they're going to look at it and go, oh, this is so annoying. Like, I don't know. It's a turnoff. And think about it. You wouldn't want that sent to you. You don't like those chain mail things sent to you. Why would you chain mail somebody Plexus information? Remember, the relationship is the most important part. So that's my number one rule of follow-ups is 2 sentences or less. That's it. And I feel like that's super effective. Another thing with follow-ups is remembering to follow up. For instance, when someone orders from me, I get on my phone, I go into the calendar, and I go out a week. And I click on that day a week later, and I say, follow up with Morgan. Did she take before pictures? Or is she drinking her water? So that in a week, I get a little alert that says, please check on Morgan. And I can go email or call Morgan and say, hey, girl, how you liking your products? Did you take before pictures? You better be staying off that scale. Are you drinking your water? You can check on them that way. It's a really simple way. Maybe you're not technology savvy and you're like, Emily, I don't even know how to do that. So what you're going to do is get a notebook, handy dandy notebook, or write on, maybe you have a planner, is on Fridays. Call it your follow-up Fridays. It's an easy way to remember to do your follow-ups. And what you're going to do is you're going to go through your customer report in the back office, and you're going to follow up with your customers first. You're going to make sure that they're drinking water, that they're not weighing themselves, that they're staying off the scale, and they've taken before and after pictures. And then the second group of people you're going to follow up with are your potentials. Now, if you just sent them a message the day before, do not message them again. Do not do that. I want you to wait a couple of days at least. Make sure you're engaging on their Facebooks. A follow-up doesn't even have to be, this is my favorite when someone says, yeah, I follow up. And I'm like, okay, what are you saying? And they send me a screenshot and it says, do you have any questions? If you need help with my website, let me know. That's my favorite follow-up. Why? Because they are not going to your website. They do not have any more questions. Let's be real. When you follow up with someone, you need to talk about them. You need to be their cheerleader. And I think something that has worked really well for me is messaging or really posting on their wall publicly and saying, oh my gosh, I can't wait for you to get started. I'm so excited. And putting like a million heart emojis because they see how excited you are. And it's a reminder because when they get on Facebook, they see that. And then something else is sending a voice message because they have to listen to it. They have to. They can't just ignore it and read it. And then you see that little red message that reminds you that people don't want to listen to you sometimes. That it stings a little. So sending a voice message that they have to listen to it's just different. It's more personal. They can hear your voice and how excited you are about getting started. Another great way to follow up with, for instance, a potential customer, a potential ambassador, besides saying, I'm so excited for you, I can't wait for you to begin, would be sending a testimony. And this may be like the 4th or 5th follow-up. That's okay. But maybe you're scrolling through Facebook one day, or you're on YouTube, and you watch or you read this Plexus testimony, and you're like, oh, that's what me and Kelsey were talking about. I should send this to her. So what you're going to do is you're going to send it to her and say, hey, I found this. I immediately thought of you. I want you to watch it. I know your time is limited and precious. I get that. But this is something you don't want to miss out on. I can't wait to hear what you think. And you send that Diamond Doc, you send that testimony, you send the screenshot, whatever it is. But sending it something that's personal with them and not tagging 5 friends on one testimony, again, it goes back to that relationship. So that's another way that I like to follow up is that personal connection. Lastly, with follow-ups is your team. You got to follow up with your team. You can't leave them hanging. I like to follow up with my levels 1 through 3 and now. In the beginning, and my priority is always following up with my level 1s. And if you have a lot of level 1s, it's okay to break it up and follow up with them daily. If you're doing the follow-up Friday method, this Friday I'm going to contact A, B, and C. Next Friday, and you can break it up over the month. And all you got to do is, hey, how's it going? I'd love to hear your goals. Hey, can we set up a 3-way call? I want to get you your business kick-started in 2016. Hey, Tom, tax returns are coming. People are going to want to order from you. What's your method? What are you doing to make that happen? So don't forget about following up with your team. Those are some super, super important, easy ways that you can work into your business. That is about it for me. I think I've talked y'all's ear off quite a bit. I'm going to unmute everybody. So if you do have a question, you can hit the little raise hand button so that not everybody's talking all at once. Anyone has a question for it, I'll give y'all about like 5 to 10 minutes, and then I got to go take care of my baby. Anybody? Don't be shy. I don't bite. Did I say anything that maybe sparked a question or you thought of something? Bueller?
What is that website that you said you look on? Did you say something like ProMed or something? What did you say?
Oh, Pub, P-U-B, PubMed, M-E-D. It is medical journals, and it has all of our individual ingredients on them. So if you have that skeptic person that drinks Dr. Pepper, but they want to know what's in Plexus Slim, they can go and, or you can look it up, and it's a professional source.
Okay.
It's not WebMD. It's not Google. It's a legit medical journal.
What do you like to say to skeptics? I want to ask you, what do you say to someone who is skeptical about, like the first safe, or we don't have, like scientific research? What is your response to that?
I got like half of that question. You kind of cut out. Can you repeat it?
Yeah. What do you say to someone who, says that our stuff doesn't have scientific, backup or research?
Hmm.
What do you like to say?
I say Plexus might not, but all the ingredients we use that our manufacturer puts our products together does. There's medical journals. You could go to your local pharmacist at CVS and be like, hey, man, can you tell me about chromium? Is this amount daily okay? And they'll be like, yeah, you're fine. Then I like to ask them, okay, so tell me about your diet. What do you drink every day? What do you eat? There's going to be people that absolutely think supplementation is crazy. And that's that 20% that Victor Antonio talks about that you just move on. You don't fight for them. You don't convince them. There's no convincing. You focus on the other 60% that is on the fence and the 20% that is all for it, because that gives you 80% to work with.
Right.
And
Okay.
if you waste time on people like that and you're sitting there trying to convince them, you take your focus off of your runners and your potentials that actually want it. So it just kind of depends on the person and your relationship with them.
Okay.
Anybody else?
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. When you said originally that you ask people if they let other people's if they're easily influenced by other people's opinions,
Mm-hmm.
Do you legitimately use those words, or do you kind of ask them in a roundabout way?
No, I straight up say, are you easily influenced by the opinions of others? Yes or no?
Okay.
And sometimes they have to think about it for a second, but most of the time they're honest and they'll say, yes, I am. And that's when you mention, okay, so are they paying your bills? Do they have any control or say over your life? No? Okay, then let's talk about that. And it's a great growing opportunity. Personal growth and the skills that you acquire as you build your business is something that we all work on, even as leaders. But asking that question before people join, or even once they've joined, like your first three-way call with them, I think it's a good question to get off the table, because if they make that first Plexus post and they have a skeptic or they have someone that shoots them down, that's going to make or break them. I mean, think about your first Plexus post, or not even that, your first skeptic. So it's important to kind of get that out of the way from the beginning.
Emily, what's your favorite book besides GoPro?
I love Gopro. It's my favorite. I don't know. I really love Go for No because it's super, super short and easy, and it's set in the sense as he goes and travels in time to his future self, and doesn't know how he's so successful, and his future self gives him advice. Anybody can read it. It's 64 pages. You could read it in like an hour if you really have the time. So Go for No by Richard Fenton. Go Pro by Eric Worre. The 4-Year Career by Richard Bliss Brooke. Those are all favorites. What else do I have in front of me? Anything John Maxwell, because he's incredible, especially when you're trying to grow as a leader. Once you I think John Maxwell is great for people gold and above, just because you're growing a team and you don't know how to take care of a lot of people. So he's awesome.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I have one more question. I'm sorry. What do you do as far as samples? Do you give them out? Do you have people buy them? What is your favorite thing to do about that?
I'm torn. I personally do not like trial packs because I feel like every time someone gets one, they're like, I didn't lose a single pound. And I'm like, yeah, I'm aware. It's for taste or to make sure you're not deathly allergic. So I think if I send someone to my website to order a trial pack, I make it really clear, like, hey, this is for taste. I want to make sure you have no crazy reactions. I want you to see how easy it is to use. So I kind of draw that line right there at the beginning. But if I do giveaways, it's usually with my husband, and we only do like 3 to 5 a month max, because usually 1 out of those 3 to 5 people are the only ones that order or maybe joins. Every month is different, and then I'm really picky about who gets a sample sometimes. That's for you to be the judge of, because you know how people are. You have the relationship with them. If you know that they're going to, try it and never talk to you again, make them go to your website and order a trial pack. They have a 60-day money-back guarantee on those, so they're not losing anything. If it's a dear friend that is posting about having migraines all the time, message or comment on their post and be like, hey, I think I have something that may help. I'm messaging you right now. And then go message them and be like, hey, Susie, I saw your status. I hate that you have migraines. That breaks my heart. If I send you a Plexus Slim sample, would you try it and see if it helps, regulate your blood sugars and get those migraines away? It just kind of depends on the situation, but no more than 5 Slim packs a month. If we get to the 5, they go to the website and they order. And if they're not willing to spend the money on a trial pack, they're not going to spend money on a full month supply.
Okay.
Well, it's been a pleasure, everyone. I hope you took away a lot from this.